Let's now talk about while loop and where do we use it. For example, let's take a situation where we want to print a statement 10 times. And in this case, it will not be practical to use the print statement 10 times in one code. So we will not write, for example, print hello, print hello, and so on. So this is not practical. So one solution for this is to use the while loop. And in this case, this is can be considered as pseudocode. And this pseudocode is a code that you can read for any programming language. So different syntax, every language has different syntax, but the basic or the algorithm of the code is the same for every language. So let's say we have A and this is the condition. So while A is equal to true, we'll keep on executing the same code. So we'll keep on doing B, and whenever A is equal to false, we'll just quit this for loop. So this is the very basic idea of the while loop, and let me demonstrate it using an example. So let's go ahead and create our variable. Let's say it is equal to 0, and let's say we want to print out all the numbers between 0 and 10 exclusive. So one way to do that is to create the while loop, and let's say y is x is less than 10. We'll just print this number and increment x by 1. And whenever we're done, we'll just print done. So let me go ahead and run this code. We'll get 0, 1, 2 up until 9, and then we got the message that is done. So how did we do that? First of all, we created an integer of value 0, and we set the condition in the while loop. So for x is less than 10, print x. So the first time it enters the loop, x is equal to 0 and x is less than 10, so we'll print it. Then we'll increment it. So now x is equal to 1. We're going to check again. X equal to 1 is less than 10. It is true, so we're going to print it out and increment it until getting to 9. Now 9 is less than 10, print it. Now 9, x will be equal to 9 plus 1, which is equal to 10. Now if we go ahead and check here, 10 is not less than 10, it is equal to 10, so this condition is not true anymore. So we'll just quit the loop and continue with whatever we have after this loop. So here it happened to have a print done, so we're going to get this message done. Now let's use else statement with the while loop. So Python allows us to do that. Let's say we have a count which is equal to 0. It is an integer, and while count is less than 5, we just print that this count is less than 5. And when we get to 5, we're going to print that this count is not less than 5. So we're going to increment count as we did before, count equal to count plus 1. And then whenever we get to a point where this count is not less than 5, and here we're going to use the else, going to print that this count is not less than 5. And let me go ahead and run this code, see what's going to happen. We're going to get 0 is less than 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, until we get to 5, and in this case 5 is not less than 5. So this is it for using the else statement with while loop. Now we also have infinite loop, and this infinite loop is a loop that runs for an infinite amount of time. One way to do that is to type while and just type true, and in this case print, let's say n, and let me create a variable n outside, so n will be equal to 0, and let's increment n by 1, and whenever we're done we're going to print done. So let me run this code, and as you can see we're going to get these infinite numbers. So let's examine what's happening here. First we created our variable n, then we created our while loop setting the condition to true. Then while true we're going to print n, then increment it. Now notice that here in the condition we have nothing to do with n, so every time it is going to check the condition will always be true since it will not be changed by anything inside this while loop. So we're going to get true every time we enter the loop and execute the code. Now we may also do an infinite loop using another method. Let's say we have a variable x and it is equal to 0, while x is equal to 0, just print hello. So let me run this code, and as you can see we'll get these infinite hello, and let me just interrupt the execution of this code by pressing Ctrl C. So this is it basically for the while statement and the while loop. We talked about the flow of execution for the while loop, and then we moved to using else statement with the while loop, and then we talked a little bit about the infinite loop. So with that being said, this is the end of this video. See you in the next one.